Do you know Animal Collective? You have to own this album. Look at it. Just look at it.
Okay.
It moves.
Holy shit, it really moves. My God, that's trippy.
Welcome back to A Musician and a Filmmaker. We are joined by one of my longtime friends, one of my oldest internet friends. I say oldest as in known the longest. They're only a year older than me. Kiki, Offbeat Kiki, YouTube's favorite Danny Phantom, Braceface, Scooby-Doo, etc. video essayist, musician,
Yep.
all-around lovely person. Here we are.
Hi.
On the podcast.
Welcome.
Jinx, you owe me saying the next thing in the podcast.
I actually said it a little bit before you, but the lag made it seem like it was a Jinx situation. But I assure you it was not.
We can just move.
Let's move on from that.
You're just ruining a cute moment. Thanks a lot.
It's the first of many moments to be ruined on this
Kiki.
show. Yeah, so welcome. That's a little taste of what you're in for the next hour. Greg, what is that shirt you're wearing right now? Looks like, what is that, reptile scales? What are you wearing right now?
This is actually, if you look closely, there's a schooner in there. It's an optical illusion. You have to focus your eyes. That's a Mallrats reference.
It's the way to get people to stare at your chest.
I'm wearing this shirt because we're talking about the Animal Collective album, Merriweather Post Pavilion. Not sure if you've ever heard it before. It's a pretty underrated indie gem. But it's, the album that introduced me to the group. I'm sure, I believe the same goes for you, Kiki.
Yep.
And it's kind of crazy that we haven't talked about it yet. I think we were at one point trying to get them on for the 15th anniversary, but we had also just had AV on like the previous month to talk about that Superflower tape. So that did not happen. But I can't complain because I also just shot a video at one of their listening parties for their side project, and it was a great time. I got some great footage. And I also want to point out that if the shirt looks small, it's because it's an all-over print, and I ordered it as a medium. It has shrank to, I believe, somewhere between a small and an extra small in the last 10 years. But I've also been lifting, so it equally looks like I'm just wearing a way too small of a shirt. And so if you see the outline of my tits, just, my eyes are right here is all I'm saying.
Enjoy it. Thanks for the excuse to listen to my favorite album ever. It's been a while, and I put it on this morning to prep for the podcast, and it was just banger after banger. I was like, man, there's not a single thing wrong with this album. It's perfect.
It's perfection.
It's a little hard for me to listen like attentively to the album because I just know the whole thing by heart already. So in my brain, it's like, oh, everything that's happening here. So it's like, I have to really close my eyes and immerse myself.
That's literally what I ended up doing yesterday, because I'm used to listening to it on like road trips or just casually in the background while I'm working. That I was like, no, I'm closing my eyes. I'm getting the highest resolution possible audio, and I'm listening.
The flex.
Because invariably there will be details every time, specifically with this album, where like you listen to it, and even if you think you've discovered every tiny little sonic thing in it, even last night when I closed my eyes and I had my AirPods on and I was listening to it, I'm like, I've never noticed that tiny little detail before. Like, just like someone's voice mixed very loosely in there, just like, I don't know if it's slapped back from the echo or what have you. Or like even on Line in a Coma, there's just like this sort of higher end, like smooth string synth, or like a pad almost. That like, there's so much else going on in the song that if you're not just focusing on that one part, you won't really pick it out. But I think that speaks to how perfectly this album was engineered and produced and mixed, because it sounds fantastic. Every song sort of has this like top-down structure, at least in terms of like how everything is arranged. And I guess that's sort of how the audio spectrum already works, but like it seemed like a very deliberate, like the high-end stuff is at the top and the low-end stuff is at the bottom. And if you want to just focus on one ingredient of the sandwich, you can. And you get so much just from like, even through the experience of like listening from one song front to back, you can decide to go from like one part of it to another and still get a great experience out of it. And that's just the production. We haven't even talked about the vocals, the arrangement of like some of the vocal trade-offs that they did. This is kind of the first time they experimented with that, which we obviously know culminated in their masterpiece, Painting With. But their first masterpiece, they're all over the place, but it also just became like this sort of eponymous or like catch-all term for like the indie pop album. I don't know. Maybe it's dated at this point because this came out 17 years ago as of the recording of this episode. But I don't know. I feel like you could show any Joe Schmo on the street the album art. Like if you say, oh, my favorite album is Merriweather Post Pavilion by Animal Collective, they'd be like, who's a what? Ha-ha-ba-ha? You're like, oh, okay, well, look at this. And like you pull up the thing on your phone or whatever, and they're like, oh, I've seen that in a record store before. Or they've even heard My Girls because it came on their Spotify algorithm, or Man of Oil, I guess, because I don't know what the hell's going on over there. But this is just a landmark album. Pitchfork, as we all know them now, gave it their album of the year, even though it came out 6 days into the year in 2009. So it was pretty much immediately
deserved.
Like, yeah, an instant classic, even for the 4chaners who got their vinyl copy on Christmas Eve when it was supposed to come out 2 weeks later. I think everyone pretty much knew that there was something special in the water here. Speaking of water, there's lots of water sound effects on this album.
Stay hydrated.
Normally, I go against the idea of a track for track, but I think with this album we have to.
Worth it. Yeah, 100%.
Totally. But I think, though, that before we go into track by track, I'm a little interested to hear about what led up to Merriweather Post Pavilion for both of y'all. So, like, were you aware? I mean, I kind of know your story here, Greg, but what was the familiarity with the band leading up to Merriweather, and where were you when you found out about Merriweather? What was that whole experience like?
So it's 2012. I'm in study hall, and my now partner at the time, just a friend I had a big crush on, was playing Bluish off of one of the computers and singing along to it, and I was like, that song's pretty. So I went home and I downloaded the album and I listened to In the Flowers and Summertime Clothes, and I'm like, what is this cacophony? And then I kept listening because I just wanted to understand it, and it didn't take long for me to just fall in love with like the hypnagogic quality of all the synths layered all over each other. And the more I learned the lyrics of the songs and fell in love with the earnestness in which they wrote them and the vocal delivery, the more it just became something that mattered to me. Early on in college, because my partner knew that I liked that album so much, he got us tickets to go see them in person. And because of that show, and like leading up to the show, I just got more and more into the band. I think it was around the time the Painting With was releasing, like before that came out, I don't know, like 2015-ish. I started participating in the Reddit, and then I started hosting listening parties with Greg, and I met a bunch of lifelong friends out of it, became a mod for the Facebook group. It basically just like opened the door to my music taste being expanded past like the 5 things I liked in middle school, opened my eyes to electronic music, led me to fall in love and meet a bunch of people. One of my favorite memories that is like directly a result of this is going to an AV Terror show in I think like 2018 or 19. And it was my birthday, happened to fall on my birthday, and like 20 different people from the Facebook group recognized me and gave me a hug and told me happy birthday. Oh. So it was magical. But yeah, just it started everything for me. I feel like the moment I heard Merriweather Post Pavilion like almost like kicks off the rest of my life. I don't know. It's a very, very magical album for me, and that's one of the many reasons why it is my favorite one.
That's amazing. That's so good. That's like literally like a life-changing album.
Yeah. No, it actually is. It is a life-changing album, 100%.
That's incredible.
I had a sort of a similar experience. Mine was freshman year of college. I had known My Girls from everyone's favorite Childish Gambino remix
my
from
God.
I Am Just a Rapper. We've talked about it on this podcast. Yeah, like you were saying, Kiki, I had like the 5 albums I was listening to. It was like Arctic Monkeys, AM, Vampire Weekend, self-titled, The Killers, Battleborn, and, you know, their back catalog, and maybe When the World Comes Down by All American Rejects. I might have aged out of that by 2014, but it's safe to say I was very, like, set to be seduced by the indie sphere of music. And I was probably already in the middle of it. And then I think it was just like, oh, well, he rapped over this one song. I know that the whole appeal of this mixtape is like exposing people to new indie artists. Let me like actually dive deep, because I do like these singles as they are. I didn't start with Yay Sayer, to be fair, but I did go right to Merriweather Post Pavilion. Yeah, just a similar thing. Like as soon as In the Flowers kicks off, you're like, what the fuck is this? This is amazing. How have I never experienced this? And then it just, the album keeps going, and you just keep getting your mind blown by how good it is. And I think I was doing it while I wasn't just like sitting there listening to it and doing nothing else. I was doing math homework because, you know, college. But it kept distracting me enough to where I knew that I was going to have to go back and re-listen to it. And yeah, by the time Brother Sport, that final like boop, 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 boop ends, you're just like, okay, I think that's the greatest album of all time. Like, I think
Pretty
without
much.
a doubt, that's the greatest album. Like, I know we just reviewed Pet Sounds a month ago, but like, I had to mention the Beach Boys at least once because this is, you know, the endless comparisons to it, but I'm not going to repeat an entire hour-long conversation we had about the overlap. But this album's like the Beach Boys on acid, you guys, and it's really good,
Yeah.
and everyone should hear it.
The first time you hear it, you're like, I didn't know music could sound like this.
Right.
It truly was like a gateway to me for listening to experimental and indie and electronic stuff. Like it was mind blowing.
But then there's the flip side of it where you go back to like normie music after Animal Collective, and you're like, why does it sound so regular? Like you got your tastes have been elevated, no pun intended, to such a level to where you're just like, it's almost like the end of the Lord of the Rings, you know, when they go back to the Shire and they're all trying to enjoy a pint in their favorite pub, and they're just like, it's not the same. Like, we've experienced so much since then. We can't just come back to this. Like,
Definitely from like 2014-ish until like 2019 maybe, I was like really focused on like patrician music and like looking for the weirdest stuff I could find. Then I started to get back into like enjoying pop music, and now I just have a very wide library of things I enjoy. But definitely for a while I was like, I can't listen to that basic stuff. I like Animal Collective. So I cringe a little bit looking at that era of my life now, but I found a lot of good music during it.
I feel like I'm still that way though.
I mean, true.
You know what I mean?
This
Like
album is so popular that like it just becomes the normie masterpiece. I think that's like a meme that's gone around for this band in particular. People are so like ingrained in their knowledge of this band that if a normie comes around and is like, I just heard Daily Routine on Spotify. Oh boy, what a banger. What else does this band have to offer? Like, I don't know. There's almost just like, or even if you've, it's kind of like that like IQ peak meme where it's just like you go from MPP being a masterpiece and then like middle IQ being like that's normie to then like high IQ being like it's a masterpiece again. Like you just sort of, it's almost
I
like
was
dropping a
just
tab
at
of
the-
acid
It's a masterpiece the
without
entire
doing any drugs.
time.
Exactly.
I'd be so happy for somebody if they heard Daily Routine out of context and decided they loved it and wanted to dive into the band. I mean, that's listening to the album again today. I decided that maybe Daily Routine is my favorite song of all time.
it's definitely my favorite song of all time.
Yeah,
That it was a huge bump. Well, I'll give a little bit. I've brought this up on the cast before, but for those that don't know how I got into this album, I'd been listening to Animal Collective for a few years before this. I got into them in like 2005. And so I saw them play. I was living in Ottawa. It's the capital of Canada. Little geography for you guys. And they had not yet released Strawberry Jam, but they were playing songs that would end up on Merriweather. So, like, you know, I was listening to Sung Tongs and Feels like over and over and over. And I'm like, what are these guys cooking? And then I go and see this show. I'm like, holy shit, they're playing like, they opened with In the Flowers. Back then it was called Dancer, I think. And then, all the old renditions of all those songs. And literally, like, my mind turned to like shit. Like, it was so amazing. Like, I feel like I was just blown away in this like tidal wave of sound. And like that same experience that y'all are talking about, where it's like, you're like, I don't know if I've ever heard music sound like this before. And it was like in that live environment. I just, I left, and like just me and my friends that went and saw it, we were just gushing about it for like hours after it. And we're like, this new album that's coming out, Strawberry Jam, is going to be amazing with all those songs. In particular, Daily Routine was played that night. And I was like, that one is going to be the fucking best. And so that album came out like a couple of weeks later or something. I bought it. I'm like on CD, and I got super stoned, and I was listening to it in my apartment, and I was just like, what the fuck? I was like, none of those songs are here. I was like, what is happening? I was like, these are great songs, but like, I swear to God, I don't know what these songs are, and the songs that I was hoping for, they don't sound like anything on this. So like, either they changed or I don't know. And at the time, I was like kind of 1 foot in, 1 foot out of like Collected Animals. So I'd like kind of just peep it every now and again. But then that's when I started to like realize about all like the bootlegs and stuff that everyone had there. So then that's when I started to clue in and connect the dots. I'm like, oh shit, this is like stuff they're playing, and they do this and they test out this music before it before it gets released. So I was like, holy fuck, how long am I gonna have to wait for this, right? So thankfully it wasn't too long, but I ended up going right before the album came out. I was living in Florida, and they were doing like listening parties at different record stores and stuff. So they had a listening party. I think it was in Miami, which was like an hour or so drive from where I was. I drove down. There was like maybe only like 10 people that showed up for this event at the record store, and they started playing, and like In the Flowers, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. By the time it got to like I was like halfway through Also Frightened, and I was like, honestly, this is like not the place I want to be while I'm listening to this album, because I'm like, I'm here, I'm in a record store, I'm standing, I'm a little uncomfortable, I'm pretending to like sift through records, but I'm not here to shop, I'm just here to listen. So I was like, I don't know what to do with myself, like I'm just standing here. So I was like, I'm just gonna leave. So I actually left, shockingly, even though this was like the thing I wanted to hear more than anything. They had some complimentary posters, I grabbed a couple of those, and then I waited till the album came out, bought it, and then properly got like stoned and drunk and like listened to it. And I have a photo I'm going to send to you, Greg, that's actually taken of me listening to it for the first time, and I think it was Daily Routine when it was taken, and the look of just pure joy on my face. It's the definition of like being lost in the music. It's an amazing photo. And I'm also going to send you a better picture of this thing, which is my sort of like holy grail of like Animal Collective stuff. This is the show I saw them at in Ottawa, and I met Dave afterwards, and he signed that, and he put, Jordan is the coolest, but he spelt my name totally wrong. It's like Jadon or Jadon.
Look,
Anywho,
he's A.B. Tear, okay? That's par for the course.
Yeah, exactly. So that was the show where they played all the. Sorry, this.
And is that little pattern thing? Is that like one of those magazine, like one-page ads?
This is the poster from the listening party.
Oh,
Love
okay.
it.
Yeah, so that's the one side of it was just the Merriweather pattern, and then the other side was this picture of like the three of them standing with their hands like that.
I think I have that actually from all the thousands of stuff I downloaded off Pinterest somewhat recently. Well, I thought you were going to end that story with, and then so I just grabbed the record off the turntable everyone was listening to and was like, I'll see you losers later. Then you bring it back, you're like,
crazy.
Hey, this is pretty good. Here you go.
That would have been absolutely wild. There's no way I would have done that.
It would have been funny made for a better story. They tried to stop you, and you're like, what? I just realized
you can't listen to it here.
This is a record store. I'm grabbing a record and I'm leaving. That's what you want, right?
It's an amazing experience. That's the point of the story, is when I finally got around to listening to it, it blew my mind, and it blew my expectations out of the water, because I also did not realize that Guy's Eyes was going to be Song for Ariel, and that like destroyed me when I heard that. I was like, because I was already in pure like heaven, and then that starting, I'm like, oh, this is one of the songs that I have not heard, and you don't know what it is because it sounds totally different. I don't think they ever played it live like that, right? So I'm like, what is it? And then the vocals came in, and I was like, holy shit, it's Song for Ariel.
Well, kind of going back to like the mind-blowing aspect of this album, I think like, the three of us have our fair share of music production between the years that we've been inspired by this album and others from this group to try and create our own. There are still moments on this where I'm like, I have no idea how they got that sound, what it is, what they processed to, like, specifically the end of In the Flowers, that sort of like you know what I'm talking about, like that sort of like metal. It's almost like it's somehow if you could like brush mercury with a paintbrush, if that could make a sound, that's what it would be. Or something. I have no idea. That's the point I'm trying to make, is that like they have to tell you what the samples are, like the beginning of My Girls, where it has literally the sounds of the rings of Saturn. But it just sounds like these kind of like layered winds on top of each other. And it's just it's constantly full of sonic surprises. Especially when you get to track 9 and it just immediately jaw harp full blast in your ears.
Yes. Yeah, it is super fun listening to this album as a producer, for sure. I mean, I over the last few years like have gotten way more into producing and picking apart the layers and like wondering how they did that, maybe knowing the answers to how they did some of those things, and just analyzing the mixing and everything has added like a whole other layer to the way that I enjoy this album now, for sure.
But it still doesn't demystify the final product.
No, of course not. It's just amazing. It's a
Yeah.
marvel of engineering.
Well, that's the thing, because like in all the time that I've been mixing music and producing music, like the one thing that I always the biggest problem I run into is the wall of sound. You know, it's like layering stuff. It gets to a certain point where you're just like, this is just chaos now. That was intentional for a dramatic effect.
Okay.
This is just chaos now. And you know, and that's the thing about Merriweather, is that it shouldn't sound it shouldn't sound as clear as it does. Like it almost defies the physics of music.
It defies the physics of an Animal Collective album.
Yeah, kind of. And it's weird too, because you get Centipede like right afterwards, Ben Allen as well, and it's like that's more like you feel everything's kind of squished together, you know. But everything's got its breathing room, but there's a billion layers as well. So yeah, kudos. I don't know what happened. Was it lightning in a bottle? Maybe.
It's the power of the state of Mississippi,
That's what it is.
specifically Oxford.
It's all the S's
Yep.
and the I's.
Well, thanks for watching, everyone. No, okay. Let's do the track for track. I know we've already brought up In the
Yes.
Flowers quite a few times. There's no real way to describe the power that this song has, like, in words. I feel like you just sort of have to experience it on the best sound system possible with the deepest bass possible, because I feel like that is a large ingredient as to why that moment hits so hard. I actually found that when I was listening to it on my AirPods, as good as they are, it's still, I was like, I still need a lot more floor in here for the full, like, In the Flowers, but it was, you know, late at night, so I didn't want to wake everyone up. Hey, guess what? I'm listening to one song. Go back to bed. But yeah, it's just like the perfect combination of like, is this the only time we hear an acoustic guitar on this album? Like, I know that was part of it, was that Deacon was taking time off from the band for personal issues. So they didn't want to do anything really with guitars. That's not to say that they didn't like record samples that like they played on a guitar and then when playing it live or even in the studio. God damn it, I did it again. This is 2 episodes in a row now where I hit the R button on my keyboard on accident and stopped recording my audio. I don't know how this happened. I'm not even on Reaper when it happens. Okay.
Crisis averted.
I don't know though. Maybe it seems like that's something that they just recorded in the studio. And
Well,
then
it's
whenever
funny
they play
because
live,
I had to take a moment when you said acoustic guitar, because I was like, what the hell are you talking about? And then I realized like the main arpeggiation is what you're talking about.
Right.
But I never think of it as an acoustic guitar for some reason.
I
don't
don't
know.
either.
No.
Well, it's interesting that when they play it live, I think, well, especially because Deacon is now back as part of the, you know, the band outfit, that I think that's a keyboard part now. Yeah, I think it's the only guitar that's on the actual album. Like, even the sort of like fuzzy, like swinging back and forth, like, in Summertime Clothes, I'm pretty sure that's still just a synth. That's just like a modulator going back and forth. But that's what's like interesting, is that it sort of starts out with this expectation of like, here's this acoustic guitar and these sort of like trippy sound effects, and you're like, oh, okay, cool, what's next? And then and like it's literally just like taking off into space, and you're like, whoa. Like Jordan can attest, it's like the moment on the Alpenfury when the roller coaster kicks off.
It is exactly like that.
Your hair
they should
gets blown
put
back.
that like on the speakers. That would be like that would push that thing into the stratosphere.
You know what's interesting? There was a I think it's a Major League Baseball team, or maybe it's a Little League team, but like a minor league, not Little League. But there's some, is it the Arizona Diamondbacks, that for a while they were starting their telecast games out with the intro from Daily Routine. So like the stadium would have all the lights off, and then it would go like bing, 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 and then like before it cuts into just a sec more, like it plays some other just like, you know, generic, you know, sports arena hype up song. It's honestly really cool. Like that has to be like whoever is in charge of programming that has to be such a huge fan that they were like, no, we have to do this. You don't understand how hyped this is going to be.
Sneak that in.
But
that's awesome.
Maybe that's what Metallica should start out their concerts with instead of Ecstasy of Gold for the 5,000th time. All right,
so,
next up we have Childish Gambino's
2.
remix of My Girls by Animal Collective, which for some reason they retroactively put as the second track on the album on digital streaming. I don't know why they did that. Yeah.
I thought Beyonce wrote that song, to be honest with you.
No, that's a misunderstanding. Beyonce gave birth to Childish Gambino.
Oh.
My Girls is fun. What a cool music video My Girls had. It's like pure synesthesia.
Probably one of their best videos, in my opinion.
I would venture as far as to say it is the best music video of all time.
Of all time?
Of all time.
Have you seen Baha Men Who Let the Dogs Out?
I have. And let me tell you,
there's so many dogs.
Second only to this one. Yeah, it's a Panda Bear song. It's a real man and not an animal. He wrote a song about having a wife and a daughter, but more importantly, wanting 4 walls and Adobe slats. That's
slats.
With a T.
And a good speaker system, which is
of course
required.
He left that part out of the song, but it is subtextual in the lyrics, I think.
Yeah. It's just it's whispered. You need the really good speakers to hear it.
For years I thought he said and a Dolby set instead of Adobe slats. He was like, I just need my girls, a room, and my speakers. So in my mind, that's still what it means, even though he says Adobe slats.
And it's also kind of funny that his son was born not long after this song came out, so it kind of became instantly anachronistic, because he wasn't going to change the song to My Girls and also the boy
or my fam.
Yeah.
Well, there was the Taken by Trees cover that was called My Boys that came out I want to say a year later. Maybe that had something, because Noah did have some hand in writing on that album too. So
they have a collab called Anna, where his vocal performance is mostly just him saying the word Anna over and over again.
I think that's literally all it is.
Yeah. But you know what? It works. And if there's one thing about Panda Bear, is that he knows how to find the perfect thing to say over and over and over again. And then you can hear new things. Actually, we didn't mention in The Flowers the I'm a Dancer little like loop that comes in at the beginning, that like low-pitched voice. What did you guys think it sounded like when you first heard it? What did you interpret that sample to say instead of what we now know it to mean?
I never even thought about it. I just thought of it as like as a sound collage element.
Same.
So you didn't hear Google Maps, Google Maps, Google Maps?
No, but I probably will now. Thanks.
Hey, I don't know where the fuck you've been, okay? You've been on all these online communities for years, and everyone has their version of what they hear there. So the fact that you have nothing, are you one of those weirdos with no internal monologue? Like, because I don't know. I'm just saying.
When you heard My Girls for the first time, after hearing, well, so wait, both of you heard My Girls before you heard In the Flowers.
No, Bluish was the only song I
Bluish,
heard
that was
before
it.
I went
Right,
and
right,
listened
right.
to the whole thing.
Okay, so knowing, like, okay, yeah, from your perspective then, Kiki, so like you hear Bluish, amazing song, and then you listen to the album. Like, are you using Bluish as kind of like your gold standard while you're listening to these other songs, being like, because I mean, In the Flowers sounds pretty different, but My Girls might be kind of a little closer.
Yeah,
I guess.
yeah. I mean, In the Flowers, I think the wall of sound definitely like took me by surprise. But then you get into the drop, and it's so euphoric. And the first couple songs are like quite vocal forward, so you know they're not the hardest to get through. And then you get to My Girls, and it's like the most like pop radio friendly song of the record. So it's kind of like easing you in a little bit to before it gets a little more crazy and hypnagogic. So obviously I love My Girls, like everybody loves My Girls, but in my mind, now that MPP is my favorite album, it's like the most basic of them all. It's like, oh, I
Right.
don't need to hear My Girls again. I've heard it a million times. I'll let it play if I'm listening to the whole album, but yeah, it's just like, oh, I could just like choose to listen to that in my brain, and then I could hear the whole song, like just play it in my head. So
Well, yeah, it's like any other indie band.
true.
That would be their number one hit, which I guess it is Randall
Yeah.
Collective, but like that would be the only thing you'd know them for. You wouldn't be like, oh, they also have a dozen fantastic albums that sound nothing like each other, each better than the last. So
I do think it's pretty representative of the rest of the album, though. It's not like it's a departure from
Right.
everything else that happens in
you still got the like
the album. It's got the same palette.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, a very well structured pop song in the middle of everything else, and that's great.
We also should mention the Beyonce interpolation from 6 Inch is the name of the song, specifically from the album Lemonade, the visual album. And I don't even think it was. The story goes that they were in the studio and one of the producers comes up with like the material things line.
She gon' slang. She too smart to crave material things.
And the melody is like 80% the exact same as the Animal Collective song. And they were all like, wow, this is great. Good job, everyone. And then like a day or two goes by and they're like, wait, that's from something. We stole that. What is that? It's Animal Collective. So before the album even came out, they caught themselves and then they gave Dave, Noah, and Brian songwriting credits on that song preemptively. Not like Domino was going to have the money to sue whatever massive label Beyonce is on, or if she's just independent at this point because she just supersedes music labels.
Yeah, but Beyonce is just known for crediting anyone who
Right.
might have contributed.
It was a
to
classy
her
move
music.
for sure, but it's also just so funny in retrospect. Like,
It is
out of
funny
all the
seeing
things-
their names on a Beyonce track credits,
right,
for sure.
And then, I mean, I know Panda technically won a Grammy for the Daft Punk album because of doing it right, but I don't know if Lemonade did that win anything that
I think
would
it
get
did
them a
win
technical
something.
Grammy win.
I don't know if it's that song specifically, but I mean, if the album as a whole, I think, won a Grammy.
Best urban
Then-
contemporary album and best
Right.
music video, and maybe
best
best album.
best 60-minute long music video. Well, if there was one technical Grammy that this band should have won in 2009 or 2010, it's for best packaging, because the vinyl for this is just the pattern but like perfectly illustrated. And there is like some weird contention with the direction of the pattern. Like, I think this is correct, but like you'll see online, you'll see the orientation of the
It gets
album
rotated?
art and like different. Yeah,
Really?
But there's only one correct one, and I believe it's this, where it's going upwards towards the.
Well, let's
right.
see. Let me grab
I don't
the
know
line.
directions when I'm on camera.
I have
Yep.
seen it pointing the wrong way on websites before. As long as it still does the illusion, I don't really care.
I'm trying to
It's
see.
going
The question is,
downwards.
there's
to
no
the
name
right.
on the spine, so there's no
I got-
real
I
way
got
to
that.
know which way is
Yeah.
up, which way is down.
Oh, this way's up because I still got the thing.
It looks the same on the vinyls and on Greg's shirt to me.
Yeah.
On the skull.
It's going from the top right down to the bottom left.
My goodness. look
Or
at
if you
this.
want to go that way.
I've lined it up perfectly.
Wow. You can make that.
Oh
Like,
no, but then the
disappear inside your
perspective fucks up the pattern. That's funny.
shirt. Well, it's more the glare.
Hey,
well
you
done,
had to show off an A.B. Terror signature. I got a geologist signature. Can you see that?
Hey, very nice.
I don't know if that's even in
That's
focus.
sick. They all have such good signatures. Oh, I also want to bring up, speaking of Beyonce, it's interesting that all worked out that way, because then in the end, Panda Bear, as he is known, did drums on Solange's album, right? Or the EP?
Yes, he did.
So
like,
there is,
drums,
like, a
some
weird
production,
connection.
And then
Yo,
there's
I
one song
didn't
where you
know
hear him go
that.
like, there's
Yeah,
one
check out
song
the
where at
song
the very
Bins.
end he's just like,
So good.
and that's his entire contribution to the track.
So I wonder if that came, like, because of that whole lyrical interpolation thing. Where they're
It's
like,
possible, but I think
yeah, we
wasn't
love
that
you guys,
album
actually.
in particular, like, I think Solange had already been known to collaborate with like other indie artists in the same realm.
She already did a track with Kevin Barnes from of Montreal, so that would have probably
There you
been in
go.
the same sphere.
Also, Frightened is one of my favorite songs to play on guitar or other instruments. It's just so fun.
I was listening to both you and Greg's rendition of it on that live stream from 10 years ago,
God.
just a couple days ago.
It was December of 2017. I'm 30.
Wow,
All right,
okay.
I'm going through it. Let me.
It was good. Honestly, I was that the thing about always frightened, also frightened, is that it's got such a fun interplay between the two vocal aspects, and I loved watching the two of you do it. I remember, 9 years ago watching that live stream and having a smile across my face because I saw how much fun it was for the both of you to play it. And the same thing happened the other day when I rewatched it.
Oh my
so.
God.
I can't remember. Was that one of the ones we rehearsed before the stream, just to make sure that we could play it?
I have no idea, to be honest. I
feel like we had to have though, because I think we knew that like we had to know which part of the harmony each of us was going to sing throughout the whole thing. Because that
Yeah,
song I feel
mean-
like is so easy when it's just you in your car to like fluctuate
Yeah.
between the two, depending on what sounds coolest in your head at the moment. But
I know that's
Yeah.
one of the ones that I used to just play on my own time a lot, so that could have helped us. Because, yeah, I mean, I think one of my oldest covers on my YouTube channel that I've unlisted most of those now, but one of the oldest ones is definitely me playing Also Frightened on my uke, and that's just always been one of my favorites. I love the lyrical content of that song too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it sounds
Yeah.
so chaotic, but it's really just a conversation about like, how do we be good parents?
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
so earnest.
how did our parents do it? Those kinds of themes.
Yeah.
But it's
It
also
is,
just great
it's-
because it has that sort of like rainforesty jungle sort of like soundscape in the background, almost just like as the percussion of the song itself. And I think this is the one where Geologist said a lot of the percussion on this album is just like cricket sounds, like the rhythm of a cricket going off and then just like distorting it or even just leaving it as is. Because there are a few points on this album where you can just straight up hear like bug noises and you're like, they didn't even put any filters on that. But it's still, it like, I don't know where the woo comes from that's constantly looping throughout the song, but it's just like, I feel like, I was thinking to myself last night, I'm like, this album, every song works because it's the sum of all parts, not on the album as a whole, but like within the individual songs. Like, I feel like if you take out one element from each final track, none of them would work the same way. And Also Frightened is one of those where it's just like, I don't know what they did, but I'm glad they did it because it sounds amazing. And I feel like this is the one I've been coming back to recently. Like, I discovered this in late 2014, so almost 12 years on now. Like, you just find yourself gravitating towards the more non-traditional stuff when you revisit something that you know by heart. Like, I was telling Jordan recently, like, I'm at the point now with the Beatles where I just put on Revolution 9, and I'm like, yeah, this is relaxing. This is a nice way to start out my day. Just because everything else would just, like, go right, pass right by me.
I think
know,
also
when
frightened to myself all the time.
Why wasn't this the one that was in Project X? For 10 seconds in
there's
the background.
I think that what's interesting about Also Frightened is I feel like certain people that I play that song to, like where I can sort of see the harmonies and like the vocal melodies sort of at the forefront. I think some people get lost in sort of the more like intentionally frightening aspects of the song. And I know for a fact, like I played this song for my wife like so many times. I'm like, just tune out those other things and just check out the vocal melodies and the harmonies. And she's like, I can't get behind this song. It doesn't agree with me. And I've always loved that it has that duality, because like that song to me, because it's like you mentioned, you know, a lot to do with like parenting. It reminded me so much when I first heard it of the movie Eraserhead by David Lynch, where it's like the whole movie kind of feels like this allegory for being petrified of the responsibility that comes with having a child. Mm-hmm. And I was like, there is this sort of like looming anxiety inducing quality about that song as well. And it's like there are like these hopeful notions like sort of in the foreground while the backdrop is a little bit panic inducing. And I was like, it's a perfect way to sort of sonically, you know, sum up what this experience would be like. And I think for that, it's just, and that's like not an uncommon thing for Animal Collective as well. Like I was just listening to the Crosby Boyce album the other day, and I was like, there's so many moments in any of their music, solo or collaborative, that they can shift from something that's so ethereal and beautiful into something that is literally anxiety inducing and scary. And all happens so fast and seamlessly that it's just wild. But I think also Frightened, it does that really masterfully.
And also when you look at the lyrics and a lot of their songs that have the most chaotic walls of sound, like they're always the most like honest, personal lyrics about things that might be a little mundane, and the lyrical content is kind of just masked by the chaos. I remember specifically when I read the lyrics to this album is like when I really started to fall in love with it, and I realized the subject matter that they were talking about behind the mind-blowing things that I was hearing. I was like, oh my god, this album is about like being away from the person you love, wanting simple luxuries to live with your family, being scared to raise kids, walking your kids to school, the sheer joy of like being outside in the summer with people you love, like just like it's not complicated in terms of the subject matter, but it just like celebrates everything so intensely with the sound design, and it's like really special in that quality. I've never heard anything else that takes such intense joy out of like normal daily stuff. I think that's part of why I resonate with it so much.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting what you were talking about, Jordan, with also Frightened kind of like having this sort of sinister undertone. And I think that's because compositionally, it's always kind of like operating in this sort of like minor mode, but it's not like even the most like sonically, I don't know if consonant is the right word, but like the most satisfying parts of the song to hear with your ear holes are they don't even, I don't think, raise to a major key, but just because they're so like especially the cascading of the voices in the outro, the like how they just sort of come in one after the other, like it just works.
It just works.
I don't even know what meme that's a reference to, but it's part of my vocabulary. And
it's also got like such an interesting like the bass. You know, it's like dun, 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 dun. Like yeah, it's kind of like an odd pattern for it to go. So it's like you're trying to nod your head to it.
I was just thinking that it's kind of adversarial, and it is constantly like syncopated and kind of skipping where you think it's gonna go, which aligns with the subject matter of the song. You don't know what kids are gonna do at any point in time. So yeah, it definitely it presents kind of like a front that's confronting, but it's very simple and sweet underneath that.
I can see why they would play something like this that's a little bit easier as far as like live performance to pull off. But something like Bluish didn't even get a live version until 2022 on the Time Skips tour. And I realized why when I was listening to the studio version.
Well, Jordan heard
last
it
night.
before it came out. I was on his set list.
Well, actually, so I should clarify. This set list is just a mishmash of memorabilia. So, of course, my camera goes off at that moment.
Perfect timing. Every
perfect timing.
time.
It's like it knows. This set list,
Oh, that is- yeah,
unfortunately,
there you go.
is from not
2022.
from the same. Yeah, this
Okay,
is from.
actually, because Car Keys is on there, so
Yeah.
never.
Yeah, that'd be sick, eh? If back
That's
in
fun that they
2000.
still call it Dancer. That's why I thought it was old, because it says Dancer.
That's
on
true.
there.
Yeah, you're
that's
right.
cute.
Actually, yeah.
If they did summertime
cool.
clothes, would they still have called it Bear Hug?
Aw.
But my point about Bluish is that if you listen very closely on the headphones, like the deep bassy drums are doing a lot of heavy lifting with the percussion because it's keeping that like sort of like like the higher end like cymbal things in time. Because if you actually just listen to that, you're like, without that other part, these little like clicky things would be totally out of time and the song would fall apart. So it's just like I feel like there are certain songs on this that work because of how they were pulled off in the studio. And I can understand their apprehension for not wanting to play them live, but it also might have just been like they just didn't write that song until like right before going into the studio, but after they were playing shows. So who knows?
I thought I heard that they like lost the stems for Bluish or something, and so they couldn't play
I think that was
it
Taste.
for years.
Taste, yeah,
Oh,
taste.
okay.
Definitely that happened. But
Because Taste is a much different arrangement. But thankfully we have plenty of... They did that one live plenty of times before they lost the stems, so we can still experience it. Especially on the BBC studio version.
Cool.
And you know
Yeah,
whose
that is
channel
one of
you
my
can
favorite
watch that
versions for
on.
sure.
Yep.
This guy.
Check it out on my channel.
Yep. Little plug. Okay, summertime clothes. Am I the only one that literally walked around with my iPod during the summer, even just by myself, listening to this song? Like, yeah, this is what it's all about.
No,
This is the
you're
good
not the
stuff.
only one. This is I had a group of friends in my early 20s, and we would bop this song in the summer all the time. It's just so joyful. I want to walk around with you, and it feels like you're being boiled alive when you listen to it. Which,
But it has to be with the sun
suits
down. When the sun
subject
goes down, we'll go out again. And specifically
Yeah.
that feeling of like when you live in a state where it gets hot enough during the day, but at night it's still like stinging hot, even though there's no sun anywhere.
Yeah,
I feel like
this
that's
song
the
just
perfect-
sounds like you're sweat through your clothes and it's hot and you're like running through a sprinkler at night or something. Like, I don't know. You can see sparkling lights in the distance. It fits what they're talking about so well. It just takes me there instantly.
Which is why I've never really resonated with the music video in the same way as some of the other songs. Because I feel like that imagery, like maybe for them it works, but for me it's just so far removed from like what the song is about and the feeling that I get from it that it's just like totally incompatible. Like, look, I appreciate that you guys gave some dancers a job and had them wave around a glowy beach ball, but it just doesn't evoke the same feeling or anything. And it's something like the Bluish music video I feel like is closer in tone. I mean, My Girls is like, I mean, that it operates on a different plane than the other music videos. I feel like, speaking of that sort of incongruity, I feel like In the Flowers is also another missed opportunity. Like, because My Girls is so perfectly fitting, you would expect the other music videos from this album to sort of fall in line with that, but of course that's not how Animal Collective operates. They like to make everything different and unique, even if it doesn't line up with what they think people would expect, especially when it comes to track lists. But that's a much different discussion. But the point is, like, when you listen to In the Flowers, you would expect, like, and then here's the part where the POV flies past the stars, and then you're flying through skies, and, you know, like, all this, like, crazy, probably way too expensive stuff to produce. They're like, Abby shot some footage of the local carnival. Can we just use that? And then we have some ballet dancers we'll just intersperse in there, and some little skeletons. I do like the skeletons. Credit where it's due. I like the dancing skeletons. I think...
Yeah. And the skeletons were a big part of that era as well on the
That's
stage
true.
and everything. So
Yeah.
They almost never go literal with their music videos or style
Right.
them like you would style a pop music video. Like, I remember actually seeing AV like sing Today's Supernatural was like kind of shocking to me. When I
Yeah.
watched that music video.
that's a cool video, though. I love
It
the
is so
makeup.
cool. I
Yeah,
love that
so
one.
cool. Yeah, I had the same shocked feeling like when I saw the Prester John video, because I was like, when it started and just the
okay.
four of them are walking, and I was like, this looks like a regular music video. I was like, what the fuck is going
For
on?
this
I was
band? Yeah. And then like the Walker video comes out and you're like, oh, okay, that's the band I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're in green screen suits crawling around on a green screen stage.
I've always loved the
giant
DIY feeling of their music videos and how
Yeah.
funky and weird they are. They're perfect.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Did Danny do the Summertime Clothes video, Jordan?
He must have. He must have.
There's no one else
other
on this earth that could
explanation.
come up with that.
Yeah,
David
like
Lynch,
that's got
maybe.
Danny. That's got Danny written all over it. But
My actual
I don't
favorite
know
music
for sure.
video from any of them is the Little Fang music video, though. I love to
Oh,
show
that's a
that
good
to
one,
people
of
around
course.
Halloween.
That's a good one.
Another Abby
I
production.
do like that one.
I think.
She made the puppets.
She made the
but
puppet, that's right.
I don't know if she directed it. Yeah,
Maybe.
maybe. I know Giovanni Ribisi directed the Catchy Was Contagious video.
Well, he also was the director of photography on the Tropic of Cancer video. But for a second, I thought you said, I know geologist, because, you know, just phonetically, I thought that's where you were going because we were talking about this album. But well, hey, speaking of summertime clothes, did you know that a week ago today, 17 years ago, they performed it live on The Late Show with David Letterman? So if we had done this 7 days ago, it would have been even more mind-blowing. But I always love that clip because even though the performance is, you know, it is what it is, I love that it starts out with Letterman holding the vinyl like this, and he's like, our next group is a critically acclaimed experimental band from Baltimore. Their newest album, Merriweather Post Pavilion, comes out this week. Look for it in the wallpaper department of your local store. Even in his, like, I'm totally checked out phase, he could still make zingers like that. So
Do you think anyone's ever made wallpaper of that and like actually put it on their walls? Because that'd be pretty sick.
I
Not
have
gonna
a
lie,
giant duvet cover of it.
I saw it in the background of
yeah.
the video, the live stream.
That's actually the same
I
duvet
did-
cover I was sleeping with when I was staying at their apartment during that visit.
Yeah, I did hang that as a tapestry in my house at some point. Right now
Nice.
it's in storage, but yeah, it was
Nice.
it could be a little headache inducing to have that on your wall all the time.
24/7 optical
little busy,
illusion. Yeah.
yeah.
As opposed to just like a regular mandala tapestry, which is just kind of like, it can fade into the background. Yeah, I get that. But could you imagine if this was like hot pink and like orange and just like a total, kind of like the My Girls single release, the little like, have you seen that one? That's like yellow and red,
look it
but
up.
it's the same pattern.
Oh yeah. That's right. The single. Yeah.
Could you imagine if that was what the album looked like? If this would not have
Oh
been
yeah,
number,
That's too
what,
much.
number
a
16
this
on the
was-
Billboard charts or whatever. This is their second highest charting album. The first is actually Centipede Hurts, probably because of the hype that this album created, and then Centipede Hurts immediately deflated in the
makes
eyes of
sense.
the mainstream. But yeah, man, daily routine. Let's talk about it. Now, Kiki,
It's the best song ever.
there was a
It might-
period of
it
time
very well
where
might
you
be.
you posted a Snapchat story almost every day of you walking to your campus, your class on campus, while singing this, like blasting the song in your headphones. And I can't
Yep.
remember if you belted out loud singing or if it was just like a
yeah, probably
very
a few
emphatic
times.
lip sync.
Because I was gonna say this was definitely one of those songs I would put on every day while I was walking to class. You know, it's called Daily Routine. It's about walking somewhere. I would just use it to get me through the morning. You know, it was like a little pep in my step, and then the reverence of the section that's where he just sings just a sec more on my bed over and over again. It's like I'm literally ascending into heaven. Yeah, I was definitely a fanatic about that song for many years, and when I listened to it again today, I specifically closed my eyes and stopped everything to listen to that section, and I was listening to the different layers of like synth arpeggiation that's happening, and there's one that gets faster and faster throughout that entire section that I don't know if I ever noticed before, and I don't know, it was just really fun. Like, I feel like the lyrics of Daily Routine are like exemplary of what I'm talking about, and maybe my favorite example of like taking something so extremely mundane and just like reveling in the fact that you get to do that every day, because it's literally just about like walking his kids to school basically and like not wanting to get out of bed, but it's like the most beautiful song ever. I think I've heard it live twice, and both times I felt like I was having a religious experience. It's so fun. Oh my God.
So true. Yeah, it's like that synth arpeggiation is so like instantly cool, you know? And then it's like the beat and the bass when they come in. Like I don't know, like the timings. Greg, do you know what timing that or?
Oh yeah, it
you know
goes
what
back and
timing-
forth.
'cause
I think the first
it goes back and forth, right?
The Just a Sec More thing is shut up. Sorry, my phone was auto playing something. I think the verse part is 10/4, and then the up on even steps I don't think is set to any meter. Maybe it switches back and forth. There's like I would have to have it in front of me to know, but like it is one of those songs where like if you're not paying attention you wouldn't know, because it's kind of like a Beatles song, like towards the like Revolver era, where it would be more about like how the parts of the song flowed as a listening experience, and not so much like sticking to a pattern on a DAW or whatever, like a click track, if you will. So yeah, I it's all over the place though, and it is interesting that. Did you guys ever have this? I don't remember who came up with the theory. I think it was on Reddit at one point, but someone was saying that the beeps that genuinely increase in speed as the song starts, like the intro, is that supposed to be like an alarm clock? Like you're coming out of the time distortion of a dream into the real world? Did y'all?
That makes sense to me. Yeah.
Yeah, I never thought of it that way, but that does make sense. The way I always saw it, it felt like something was being hand cranked.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you've got those those sound effects of like it sounds like wood kind of like being pressed, and then it's like it's getting a little faster, and it reminded me of like these like old carnivals where there's some sort of like Jack in the Box style thing, just like cranking it until it pops out or whatever. So that's what I always had in my head. It's just like this thing getting faster and faster until like it just bursts in with the song,
or until the Arizona Diamondbacks can come out and start playing the first inning. You know,
we let the dogs out.
I'm just not even going to acknowledge that. I'm just going to move on.
You don't have to.
Well, yeah, the Just a Sec More section is, or like the ending rather, that like last 2 minutes is just, I think at first it was mind blowing because like you don't even pay attention to how long that part's been going on, because there is just so many layers, like you were saying. Yeah. I never realized until recently that the power of like going, I think it's literally just like they're holding on an F chord for most of like the first 2/3 of that, and then it just comes in hard with like one semitone up or like the next note up on the scale, and you're just like, this is even better now. Like this, it went from perfection to even more perfection. Like, and you just, you feel like that SpongeBob meme where he's just like body and then spirit just starts floating above the body. Like, if In the Flowers didn't already make you feel like that, this part absolutely should. And I'm sure at one point they've said that their favorite songs were all of them at one point, but I remember there being a quote from Geologist saying that this was his crowning sonic achievement on anything at the time. Maybe he might not agree with that now, because Jordan, we've had him on the podcast a few times. He contradicts himself mid-sentence. So I'm sure things change in 17 years, but...
And he's a man of the moment. He's a hurdy-gurdy man now, and his interests have shifted ever so slightly into a medieval instrument.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's go to Bluish, man. Bluish.
It's the one.
Bluish.
This is the logical first single that was not the first single. This actually blew my mind, like when I heard this, because again, like it was not played live. So, when I finally had my proper listening party at home, like I didn't know what to expect, and it was like within seconds you hear that like that synth line, you're like, oh, and then the vocal melodies, like it was just like it just kept getting better and better, and I was like, what the fuck? How did they not open the doors with this? But I did appreciate, because
well, it is interesting that this album,
Collective.
because they played it live first, they were talking about, like, as they were coming up with the track listing, like as it exists now, it's perfect. But early, the way it started, I think also Frightened was going to be the opener, and they were going to close with In the Flowers, and that would have been so bizarre.
Very weird.
But I think it was literally just because they opened so many shows with In the Flowers and they ended so many encores with Brother Sport, that's just how it ended up, and then everything else found its place. in the
The
track
order's
list.
perfect.
Yeah,
The
and
order
I do
is
love
They
how
did it
this.
way.
Yeah.
I love how it's like you can almost clump this album into like tracks of 3 and then like 2. Like
Yeah.
In the Flowers, My Girls Also Frightened are their own section. Summertime Clothes, Daily Routine, Bluish in the middle, and then
Yeah.
Guy's Eyes and Taste, and then
Yes, absolutely.
kind of the end trio don't really tie together, but they tie the album together.
I think of Lying in a Coma as and No More Running as kind of like the sleeper section of the album for sure. Even though Lying in a Coma is a pretty active song, those two are softer to me somehow.
Yeah, I get that too.
Yeah, but Bluish, a real banger.
Real
If
banger.
we had more time to record this today, I would now do a dramatic rendition of the Animal Collective dance party, but we unfortunately don't have the time for it, so we'll have to save it for a future episode. But the joke comes from that, where the guy was trying to get people to dance at his awkwardly forced dance party, where Animal
God.
Collective was the main playlist.
Oh my god,
And
that's an ancient memory you just awakened.
His breaking point was when nobody was dancing to Bluish, which he interjected as like an author's note saying, a real fucking banger. And everyone's like, that's not the song you put on at a dance party. Like Summertime Clothes, sure. I think at one point he even put on Haylight, so I don't know what the hell that guy was smoking, but to each their own, I guess. But the point is, this is very much like one of their most straightforward love songs. Like, I don't think it could be, and it's an Avey love song, which I mean, he has never written really any of those, so no. But it is interesting to hear his sort of version of it with this sort of like agreed upon palette, because I think this started the trend. Maybe you can argue Young Prayer started the trend where like Panda made an album and then the next album that the group made was sort of modeled on that sound, like Young Prayer to Sung Tongs maybe, but definitely Person Pitch to Merriweather Post Pavilion. With we haven't even mentioned the Roland SP303. The main ingredient as to why this album sounds the way it does is that they wanted to just try triggering samples when they weren't singing to perform the songs on stage. And it's a great, perfect example for me to bring up for this song that they didn't play live at all. So there's no through line for what I'm trying to say. But yeah, there was just so much to keep up with, I guess. And so this one, like I said, I can't really pinpoint where it came along in the production, but it does kind of stand out from the rest, but they were able to make it blend in with the production to where if you didn't know that it had its own evolution in life beforehand or didn't, you would have no idea. But as it exists on the album, it's beautiful. This is one of the few songs that highlights like the piano as just like a straight up like, no, the piano is in the song now. It's not like a sonic thing we're blending into it like. And it's a beautiful little piano melody, and it's not even like a hook melody, but it's just like this perfect little flourish that just, like I said earlier, the sum of all parts, it all just perfectly stack that sandwich together, and it's the most delicious sandwich you've ever eaten in your life.
It's tasty.
It is. Speaking of taste, let's move on to Guy's Eyes, because that comes first in the track list.
Excellent segue.
Guy's Song for Ariel. Was this so? Is the implication of that demo that the song was written for Ariel Pink, like as a tribute, or
I hope not.
in retrospect we hope
Yeah,
not. But in 2009,
it'd be great if it wasn't, but it might very well be.
well, all right then. Next song. No, I understand not wanting to talk about him and the politics of it and all that, but it is interesting that it had such an evolution from just like a bare bones like 4 bars of another song as the backing track.
Right?
Yeah,
the Zombies track that was just like those four chords. Or was it 4 chords?
It's
two
just
chords,
two,
yeah.
back and forth, and that's why, like Chores, it's such a just like the chords aren't important. It's about the lyrics and the direction the song goes in.
The journey,
but it's so
the friends
different.
you made along the way.
Like I don't even know what the instrument is at the beginning of this, where it's like. Did that come through on Zoom? Maybe it didn't.
It did.
Yeah, I know what
Yeah.
you're talking about.
Sometimes it doesn't. Yeah, as the song goes on, you don't even pay attention really to the instrumentation. Like, of course, there's the drum clicks, the when it starts picking up, and the kind of like on Taste. But the main attraction of the song is Panda Bear's vocals and the way he layers And like, I don't know what the music theory term is for when like multiple melodies are all playing on top of each other, but they all like work. I'm sure there's a phrase for it that I didn't go to music college. I went to movie college, all right? But more learned people.
I mean,
know what I'm
the
talking
song
about.
is kind of in a round, so the repetitive chords lend themselves to, and the round itself lend it, the round like lend themselves to evolving the song and the meaning of what he's saying. If you compare and contrast the different sections and the way they build and the way the sentiment changes throughout, because I mean he's saying the same stuff and adding another layer on top, so I guess you could say it's around.
Yeah, it's almost like he's wanting to say all these things to his wife that he can't because he's on tour or just away from home or whatever. And so it's just sort of like everything building up all at once until it does sound just like, I mean, it's like an inner monologue of a panic attack, I guess, but you're panicking because you love a woman so dang much. So, you know.
Missing someone you love does feel that loud, so I think that's great.
And it all just coalesces and it all just strips back and he's like, no, I want to do just what my body wants to. Damn it. All the other thoughts aside, this is how I feel. Don't forget. And of course, everyone's going to attribute this song to being thematically about masturbation. I think that you could probably frame any song in a sexual manner and think that you're right, but I think this is just more innocent than that. At least that's how it comes across. Of course, he was a grown man. I'm not saying that's not part of it, but it's like, that's not what I get out of it when I read the lyrics or when I listen to the song. I think, holy shit, how the fuck did he pull this off? How did they layer his voice like 18 times on top of itself and it still sounds like everything is exactly where it's supposed to be? It's just, I have no words.
It's magical. You know what's interesting is I think I told you this, Greg, maybe not on our podcast, but recently it took me a really long time to get around to watching Rosemary's Baby, and I only recently watched it. And at the end of the movie, spoiler alert, actually, it's not even a spoiler, there's just a phrase, because Rosemary's like husband or partner, his name is Guy, and she notices something wrong with Guy at the end of the movie and goes, Guy's eyes. Something's different about Guy's eyes. And I was like, is that where the fucking title came from?
Very well likely could be, honestly.
Yeah. So we gotta ask the boys at some point if that's where that came from, if they even remember at this point. But
I'm not convinced Panda knew for sure when I asked him after that show in 2019 if the lyric was Adobe Slabs or Adobe Slats. I think he just shot in the dark, was like, slats. I don't know. It was 10 years ago.
He made it up in the moment.
They kind of don't remember stuff when you ask them sometimes.
But it's also
I asked Dave, like, on oh shit, what's it called? The Painter's EP, the first track.
Right.
What's that song called?
Goalkeeper
bonkers.
or something? What? Oh.
No, it's the
bonkers, kind of bonkers,
kind of
pretty
bonkers. That's it. Yeah.
Oh.
Kind of bonkers.
My
There's
fave.
a part
I was going to
where
say, I'm surprised you forgot that, Kiki.
I don't know the track. Listen, I don't know the track list of the Painter's EP. Okay, I just know every word to Kind of Bonkers.
So okay, this is perfect. So doesn't it sound like in one of the screamy parts he goes, Jesus Christ? Or he's like, I'm a man of oil, Jesus Christ. It sounds like he says, I'm a man of oil, Jesus Christ.
Oh, okay.
So I asked him that, and he was like, honestly, I have no idea what it said.
Well, that was one of those songs that they wrote over like 4 years via an email thread. That's like that and Mountain Game are like the only two songs they wrote like that. So I can understand him being like, look, that was in an email. I don't fucking remember. That was probably scratch vocals that I just said, here, do something with this.
I think that's what it was. I think
it.
he just ad-libbed, and it was like, that sounds great. Like, let's leave that in there. But to everyone listening, to everyone watching, present company included, go back and listen to it. It sounds like I'm a man of oil, Jesus Christ. That's what it sounds like.
What part of the song are you hearing that?
It's at the end of a verse, but before the "Are you seeing me? Are you seeing me?" part.
Okay.
It's the other one where he doesn't say what the fuck is happening, which
exactly.
There's no ambiguity about that. They spelled that out in the music video, so you knew.
I made my friends listen to that song so many times when it came out.
That one I feel like hasn't aged well for me. Like in a vacuum, it's a fine song, but like
Really?
in the
I love
context
that
of
song.
painting with
No.
the era, it doesn't. I don't know. But
I feel like it's
I don't
kind of-
Still one of
dislike
my
it, but
favorites.
it's just like I won't throw it on. You know.
Like in terms of the palette, I feel like it's pretty different than some of the other like the painting with era stuff. Like it stands alone, but like it's honestly in my top tier like Animal Collective songs.
Me too.
I love that song.
Oh,
so
there was a
much.
point where I'm like, why wasn't this the album opener instead of Floridata? Just like totally misdirect people.
That'd be funny, but I can see why they did. So Taste, let's talk about it.
Taste is my
Shout
favorite
out
song
to the BBC version.
on the album.
Yeah.
There's like 5 versions of this song. There's the BBC Taste Place version. There's the
Blog Attack.
Well, that's the same version.
No, it's not. They're like on a shopping cart just playing it
No, but
on,
I'm
like,
saying they're playing the same arrangement of Taste
Well,
as opposed to
yeah.
like the
kinda
studio
stripped out a bit
version.
more, but-
And then the 2011 Pitchfork version is different. It's like very like 808 heavy. And then there's the
painting with.
the Painting with 2017 version,
Yeah.
which is again so different because it's played with like the drums as the. But this is my favorite Animal Collective song of all time. Just saying.
Whoa.
That's right. It's not my favorite song of all time, period, because I don't think that is a thing that I could, possibly narrow down. But this song is just like, it's one of those perfect songs to me. And, I don't think I really fully got it until like maybe a year or two after discovering it. And then just like one of those times where you put it on and like you actually pay attention to the lyrics and you're just like, holy shit, I didn't realize how much I identified with what this song was trying to convey. I thought it just sounded cool. Like, am I really all the things that are outside of me? Like, does the music that I make play on my awkward face? All of these lyrics about just like how you're perceived, how it doesn't really matter to you in the moment because you're just trying to be yourself, but like these are still things you have to consider when being a person in the public sphere. Like, how am I portrayed? Do people just see me as this weird like outsider druggie who makes this experimental music that your mom hates? Or am I just like a Joe Schmo? Like, can I just be a person and sit in a house and have a good time and not have to worry about the pressures of like, gotta make a new album to meet this metric and make all these people happy and XYZ? Like, can I not just strip all of that out and sometimes just exist and just be a pure human being as opposed to A.V. Terror of the band Animal Collective, who's playing
And also,
85
like,
shows a year?
Does everything you consume amount to who you are, or is it just things
Can you just be
around
interested
you?
in stuff, or does
They're
it?
not part of you. My favorite lyric in the song is "Don't go changing clothes when they don't like yours," because it's not about what you're wearing. It's about like just don't go changing things about yourself that you enjoy just because somebody else has negative feedback about that thing. I also love fashion, so like on the surface I like that lyric too because I like wearing weird clothes. But yeah, that is another one of my S tier Animal Collective songs. It's the only one when I listened today where I was like, I couldn't help myself from singing along. I didn't sing along to any of the other ones, but without even like thinking about it, I caught myself singing along to that one. And I definitely think the message of that song is like one of the most universal messages of any of their songs. And it's one that I always want to show to people, but they just like don't. They're like freaked out by how it sounds,
Well, it's,
basically.
if your
But I'm like,
criticism,
no, listen to the lyrics.
Yeah, if your main criticism of Animal Collective is it sounds like 2 songs playing at the same time, this is not the song for you. Because Panda Bear literally just comes in with like a completely different song in the second verse. And I still to this day have no idea what he's saying. But that's fine. I'm okay with that.
Do you not? But in the live stream, you sang Panda's parts.
Yeah, but I was probably just imitating. I probably didn't know the actual words. I was probably just like imitating what I've heard so many times.
Cut to the clip.
No,
Bring it up.
no, this is never seeing the light of day.
It's gonna look like that exactly when we
I
cut
know.
to the clip.
The
It's just gonna
timing
be
on that
color
thing
bars
it's impeccable.
and tone. But yeah, just the beautiful blending of those two like almost like conflicting vocal lines. And then when they do the Animal Collective thing where they just repeat the main line of the song over and over at the end, their harmony is so beautiful. And I love singing the higher part of it, even if people hear that by itself and they're like, you're not singing it right. I'm like, I am, damn it. Just not the main part. This is Animal Collective. Let me figure it out. I do the same thing a lot with the Beatles and Beach Boys songs as time goes on. But Panda Bear exclusively because his like thing in the studio is layering his own voice like a minimum of 3 times just to get that sort of wall of sound just coming from him, which can be
I do
distracting
love-
on albums where that's not the main part of it.
Yeah. I love the repetition at the end of this song and the way the repetition is used throughout this album to drive the point home. But I think it works on this one in particular because the more you think about that line, am I really all the things that are outside of me, the more you kind of like spiral about it. So it makes sense to sing it 8 or 10 times in a row, in my opinion.
Yeah, at
So
least
good.
it's
Give you time to think about that answer.
a lyric
Yeah.
that was written down, as opposed to like, I'm gonna take this Grateful Dead song, like 4 seconds out of it and like jumble part of it so it says something new that isn't in the song. I guess we got to talk about Fall Be Kind briefly. I think this is the first album. Well, we talked about Feels, but we had Geologist here, but we haven't actually talked about Fall Be Kind, which is we have to include it because so many
Kind
of
of
the
the
songs on
companion
that
EP.
EP. Yeah. Most of the albums we talk about on the show don't have that, but finally we're at one that has a companion EP. I think Grays comes from like 2007. What Would I Want Sky, I think, was written
Pan
like
Flute.
basically
What was it called? Pan
around the
Flute
time
Jam?
that the album came out. Yeah, Pan Flute Jam. What Would I Want Sky samples Unbroken Unchained Melody.
R.I.P. Phil Lesh.
And it was
by
the
Grateful
first
Dead.
song that was allowed to sample the Grateful
Yes.
Dead, right?
As opposed to all those mixtapes in the 90s where they didn't get the rights and the Grateful Dead were not happy. But there's Bleed, which is a very drone-heavy song. On a Highway, again, very ambient. That one has a great sonic palette to it. And then I Think I Can. Now, out of those 5 songs, I don't really know where any of them would fit on this album. And I think there's probably a reason that they decided to excise them. Whether it was they were completed and they didn't fit, or the song was in a demo mode so they weren't even thinking about it. It's interesting that has almost superseded this album in some people's eyes. Like, they like it better than Merriweather. They think it's like, they see Fall Be Kind as the band's crowning musical achievement and not this. Or,
That's wild.
Dance Vanity.
And then Mickey Hart and A.V. Terra did Wayward Son years later,
Yes.
and I love that
Which is
song
an
too.
excellent song. Yeah.
That's good.
Is not a cover of the Kansas song, but it's pretty darn good. I would even venture to say it's better.
It is better.
Yeah. This is also one of those songs where you listen to it on headphones and you appreciate new things. But my main moment from that actually came a decade ago when I was listening to it on headphones and I finally heard the bass line during the chorus. And it's like, it's not just like your normal sort of like, root note to lay the foundation of that part of the mix. It's like there's actually a little interesting melody going on there. And for some reason, it just gives me goosebumps. Like every time it gets to like the should feel good to share our favorite things combined with the bass line going bam, 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 bam. Like, again, that probably sounds insane if you've never heard the album. But in the
If
moment,
you've never
you're
heard
just
the
like,
album, why are you listening to this? Go
Why would
listen
you?
to the
Yeah,
album.
exactly.
you'd be surprised, okay? People watch movie reviews with no intention of having seen the movie or wanting to, so.
I always
That's
tell
wild.
people in my reviews to go watch the thing and then come
That's
back
true.
to my video.
Well, we've
because I'm not
started
gonna
doing that
recap it
more
for you.
recently on this podcast for sure. But it's ours is a little bit more aggressive. Ours is just like, if you haven't heard Merriweather Post Pavilion, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, are you an asshole or something? So like maybe not the best way to approach it, but 10 times out of 10, if anyone is interested, like what's your favorite band? I go Animal Collective, and they go, what's their best album? I go, boom. Because I always carry the vinyl in my pocket. No, but I will be like Merriweather Post Pavilion because, I mean, you could say Feels, but I don't think that's like, I think for people that know the discography, that's considered more of a normie album, but I think this is the album you should introduce anyone who has no
I would
concept
never
of
choose
this
another
stuff.
one to introduce somebody, honestly.
Yeah. And
No
maybe
question.
even this song. I mean, My Girls, obviously, but like this one, if they can handle this, they can handle the rest of the album, At least in terms of like the weirder directions it goes. I know we have limited time. I can babble about this song for 2 hours. All that to say, it's the greatest song ever made. Sorry,
Taste
Brian
Focus
Wilson.
episode coming later.
It's true.
Yeah.
Part 2. We come back in a week and record part 2.
Okay, moving on.
Line in a Coma.
Line in the Coma.
Now, do you think the song is about a literal lion, or is it a
The play on words.
malapropism of lying in a coma? Because
I mean,
you
he's
could look at
talking
it either
about
way.
he's talking about like a wild element inside of him, and I think the line in a coma is like that
this
wilderness
wilderness
inside of
up in
him
my
asleep,
head. Yeah.
and dormant inside of him. I think that's what it means.
Well, I guess
I
the
think it works
implication
both
is
ways.
that if you're a human or a lion in a coma, there will be a foul aroma if you don't get a sponge bath, I guess. He left that part out of the song. But this song is interesting, though, because this is also, I think, the only Animal Collective song where you can't give it a solid meter. Like, it's not just like an integer over
That's super
another
funky.
integer.
Yeah.
It's like 3 plus 2 over 2. It's something crazy like that. But because it's just like, it is so like the structure of it is like 3 notes and then 2 notes and then 3 notes and then 2 notes. And that never changes. There's not even like a bridge where there's a time signature change. Like it is just like a very constant about the song. Although, I guess there is a bridge, but they'd stop the beat for that. So it doesn't interfere with it. But it's a great song. I do feel like it sort of sticks out like a sore thumb on the album just because everything else sort of has a different vibe. It takes a much bigger leap sonically, I think, into the experimental side of it as opposed to the pop side of it. So I could see a lot of people skipping it. I could see a lot of people not caring for it. I feel like when I was going through the casual, like those albums that you love, like even if you love every track, you put it on and you only want to listen to like your favorite 5 or 6 songs from it and then move on. This was not one of those 5 or 6. So it would get to taste and then I would move on to No More Running. Run In, sorry. There's no G in the song title. But there's also not a G in Lying in a Coma because that's not what it's called. Do y'all have anything to add to Lying in a Coma?
Yeah, I'll say that oh, sorry. Go for it, Kiki.
I was just gonna say, like I said earlier, Lying in a Coma and No More Running are kind of where my brain like takes a bit of a back seat when I'm listening. Like I still enjoy the lyrical content of both of those songs a lot. But after the overwhelm of the last few songs, I think it's kind of arranged this way on purpose to kind of give you a break before you get into Brother Sport, because Brother Sport can be so intense. So I don't skip it, but I do think what you're talking about with it kind of like falling in action is like super intentional here.
Yeah, agreed.
Well, I don't even know what that like higher end instrument is in it though. Like, is it like a flute or something like that? But it's like the.
It's
like
very
during
magical. It's
the
very
bridge.
magical.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I love it.
I don't know what it is either, but it is magical. And that Line in a Coma was one of the songs that I did like find myself like if I had to choose like a song that I didn't like that was technically the worst song on Animal Collective's Merriweather Post Pavilion. When it came out, I would have said Line in a Coma. But as time went on, I learned to appreciate that song a lot. And like now it's one of those ones where it's like, because I've listened to MPP so many times, it's like I find myself just going to like Lion in a Coma immediately. And I'm like, because I haven't I didn't overdo this one. It still feels like really new and fresh. And there's so many layers to it as well that there are like things to sort of pick out, and the timing's so weird and stuff. There's so much to like, once you've locked yourself in as an Animal Collective fan, going back to Lion in a Coma is like the best little puzzle for you to kind of like work on,
See, that's
and
what
that
also
section with
Frightened
the
is for me.
please don't leave me. It's so satisfying.
Yeah,
so good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't think the song would resonate as well with me if not for that section that you're talking about.
It's perfect. Yeah.
You got to switch it up. It couldn't just be the jaw harp for 5 minutes, because then people would definitely skip it. But I'm glad it exists, and it's in how weird it is. And they didn't play it a lot live before the album came out, but if you look up versions of it, they did do something unique to it that they didn't do with a lot of other songs. Like there's kind of a long build up in the transition, and there's more going on before the jaw harp sample actually kicks in. We should point out that is a sample from like a jaw harp specific record. That is not one of the band members with a little thing in front of a microphone. It's someone else with a little thing in front of a microphone. So
I thought it was a didgeridoo until you told me it was.
do you know what a didgeridoo sounds like, Jordan?
I literally have one like right over here somewhere.
It's like.
But you can make like. Oh, it's so dusty. I'm like not gonna put my mouth up to this, but it's
drone music.
Yeah, but it's kind of has like a like that sort of noise to it as well.
I can see that. Or like the Dune the 2021 Dune vocal singing, that sort of Mongolian.
Yeah, like the Mongolian throat singing.
Yeah.
Similar. Anyway, moving on. No More Runnin'. Love this song. I mean,
Yeah.
come on. How can
Hot
you not?
take?
This, like, in terms of a slow song.
Can I give a hot take? This
You can.
is an amazing song, but my hot take is it should be the closer.
Ooh, disagree. Strong.
I know
disagree.
everyone loves Brother Sport. I used to love it too, but you know, I can't
Nah,
listen to
you
2
would
minutes of
skip it.
screaming in the middle of 3 in the afternoon.
You would skip
when
it
I'm-
if it was the last song. And Brother Sport was like the penultimate. You would just stop after Brother Sport.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it should go Lying in a Coma, No More Running, and then the album's over. And Brother
Ooh.
Sport is a non-album single. I'm
Wow,
saying
that's even wilder, man.
I know,
Like, what are you
right?
talking about?
Kiki's looking at me like
What are you
like I
talking
just
about?
That
killed
is
a
a hot
family member.
take, and I cannot get behind you on this.
Yeah,
Wow,
this
10
is the
10
craziest
years
thing you've
of
ever
internet
said on this show.
friendship, and this is what it comes to.
That's
They're
where it
jumping
ends.
ship.
This podcast is over right here.
Damn
This is
it.
the last episode.
Now I regret.
No More Running is another love song, but it's just like a much quieter love song. It's like, I found what I was looking for. I'm not running away, and everything's chill. Like that. I don't know. It's a very like, it's like a moment of respite, truly, before you jump into Brother Sport, and the content of Brother Sport is so heavy to contrast with the crazy action of the production of the song, that it's nice to have this like chill love song before you jump into like, I know our dad died, but you need to like, you know, we need to celebrate being alive and be there for each other. Like it's a nice little moment to breathe first.
It is kind of funny that for a second in my head when you said that, my brain was like, that's not this song, that's Bros. I'm like, oh, wait. It's the same person that wrote it. It's the same brother that he's
Yeah.
singing to in both songs. They both
Yeah.
start with BRO. Like, it's
Yeah.
very easy to confuse them, I guess. But No More Running. I do love this song a lot. It's one of my, dare I say, underrated gems in the discography, because it is just, but yeah, like that's going to happen on, we talk about this a lot on this podcast, where when you have these albums that are like a 10 out of 10, some songs are just not going to stack up to the others because the standard has been set so high by itself. So I think a lot of people gravitate towards the other highlights of the album. But this one, I will come back to this one a lot. This one will end up like, if I'm making a more of a low-key ambient playlist or what have you, like I will never skip this song, because it is just so, to quote a certain individual on my recent YouTube video comments, serene.
It is serene. Yeah.
And it evokes like the imagery of just like, you know, you're sitting on the back porch, you know, staring out at the woods, moon coming in through the trees at night, maybe some fireflies are popping up here and there, and maybe even, you know, some mystical beings in the forest, if you believe in that. And it just kind of, it takes you there. And yeah, the vocals on this song are insane. Like, could you there's a good thing we didn't try to cover this, Kiki, because I don't know if we could have lived up to the literal height that they reach with their harmonies. Like
I've
what
played
I
it on
hope
my
for.
uke or my guitar many times. I love holding out that
it's
high.
beautiful.
No more running. Yeah, good
Yeah,
stuff.
the melody is more complex than the chords in this one, but I'm not complaining. I do love covering it. I just hate getting to that part where it's like, you know, like we all know the boo, 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 but then when it gets to that other synth part that's under like singing, my brain can't like isolate it to figure out what notes to play. Maybe AI can solve that, but I'm not in a rush. You know, because they have those tools where you can just isolate the tracks with AI and then listen and be like, oh, that's what he's playing.
It would actually be pretty interesting to get like AI, and not that, you know, AI is a good thing, but in this case, to just like separate all the layers from like this. That would be so interesting if it could separate all the layers from every
Stem
track on
separation
MVP.
is fun. I've never seen one that can separate different synths from each other, though. I've
that's true.
only seen it where it can do like drums,
Like,
guitar, piano, vocals, and everything else.
Right.
So.
Right,
Right,
but with
right,
this
right.
song specifically, even if it was just,
This fervently.
Oh no.
they're like, wrap it up.
Yeah.
Even if it was just the keyboard melody and the pad, I feel like you could still discern it. But
Yeah.
anyway, love
Well,
it.
they're
Love this song.
I also love the fact that they're you know, up until they were touring until what was the last tour? 2023?
22.
22. They were still playing the song, and it like really, even in the Isn't It Now sort of configuration, still sounded pretty faithful to the MPP version. So
Yeah, they played this at the Tulsa 2019 show, which we all thought like it was gonna be that 1 week, and then we get a new album in a number of months, and then we didn't expect the pandemic to hit, but they did play it at that first show, from like their first like main band show in years, like maybe since Centipede Hurts. And it was just like a beautiful moment, because you're just like, I get to not only hear the song live, but me and all of the other freaks around me get to harmonize perfectly with this big sweeping vocal and the guy on stage. And no one's going to care or judge us, because this is exactly the place you're supposed to do it. Like, if I'm at the local library, probably not. But at Kane's Ballroom in Tulsa, Oklahoma, go for it. And I'll always love that set. That one, I think, it also stands out to me because they started playing In the Flowers, but AV couldn't hear Deke's keyboard part, which is that acoustic guitar arpeggio we talked about. And so he's just like, sorry, guys, I gotta stop the song before we get to the breakdown. I need you to turn up his keyboard. I cannot hear it. Like, it doesn't work if I can't hear it. And he's like, all right, anyway. So they started from the beginning, and it was, fantastic. But that drop just cannot translate live. Like, unless they went out of their way to have the strongest subwoofer ever and bring that along with them to every show to play that one song and have the deepest bass possible, it is what it is. But something like No More Running, you could play in any style, and it works. And I'm glad that they do. I'm glad that they revived this one and didn't try to revive, say, Brother Sport and try and do a style that didn't work. Like, I think people expected them to. I was actually, that was a transitional piece to Brother Sport, is what I was trying to do.
Yeah, I don't know how you would translate Brother Sport into a different genre, because I feel like it relies on the tension between the lyrics, which are kind of sad, even though they're uplifting at the same time, and the energy and chaos of the instrumentation to sell the song. So I don't know how you would, like, I don't want to hear somebody play that on their guitar.
Well, that's because it's literally the same 4 chords over and over again. Like, could you imagine just like hearing that and then just a guy on an acoustic guitar for 2 minutes going, woo, woo, woo? Like, maybe you could make it work, but I personally,
I think somebody did. There was a guy who used to post like loads of acoustic Animal Collective covers. Forget what that guy's name was.
Alexander Robichaud, is that who you're talking about?
That's him.
Yeah,
That's him. Yeah,
of course.
He must have done Brother Sport.
Him and then Max Levinson on the piano. We'll never forget
Shout
those
outs.
guys. They played so
Represent.
many covers.
You guys.
I think
We know
Max is
you.
still
We
making
know
covers
you.
now and then, every now and
Love
then.
it.
But there was a period where they were making
great.
He was making a ton of them. I've hung out with that guy in person. He's cool.
Cool.
We went to that Vaporwave
Great
festival
pianist.
together. Okay, here's my. I love this song. I'm not trying to make
What
it
are
out
you going to say,
like
Greg?
I don't,
What
but
are you going to say?
I take issue with the fact that there are some people that don't put a space between brother and sport. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say, Jordan. And I think it's bullshit.
I agree with
they,
you on that one.
That they make it one word instead of two. It's supposed to be. There was a period of time when I got into this album big, like for the first time. Literally there was a day where I listened to only this song. And I think it was like maybe 4 times by the time the day was over, just because there was so much information my brain was trying to glob onto. It's a big energy song, but I mean, you heard it. If you hear it 3 times in one day for X amount of months, yeah, as the years go on, you might not be inclined to put it on all the time. That's not to say that
I'll never get sick of it.
I listened to it last night when preparing for
never.
the podcast. Okay, so give me a little bit of credit.
It brings something out of me every time that I hear it.
Yeah.
Like, it's just the drums, like the vocal
Very
melodies,
special.
everything.
Maybe it's because I haven't been able to experience it live that my brain just hasn't fully.
It shouldn't even require that. I think
It
the
shouldn't require-
studio record
There's something
studio
wrong with
version's
you,
fine.
so.
Yeah, something is. This problem is.
I have an
strictly a
internal
Greg
monologue.
problem.
Damn it! It's too loud. If anything.
Yeah, I love the way the song builds. The way it ends also kind of shocked me today, because it drops off pretty quickly after that final peak. You know, there's just a few little bleeps and bloops, and then the album's over, and you're just confronted with silence, and you're like, hit play on In the Flowers. I'm not ready to be done with this.
It's so true.
You stop dissociating just long enough to hit play again. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a great way to end the album, because it's like, it does feel counterintuitive a bit, because at the time, especially, like the slow closer was the thing, right? It's like the only option. So logically, I'm sure Domino's like, are you sure you don't want to put No More Running at the end? But like ending on such a high note, is the way to go. And I think like Animal Collective have done this before as well. And it's like, it's the best way to go, because it's like, yeah, leave with that moment that you're talking about, Kiki, where you're just like, what do I do now?
What do I do now?
I'm like amped. And then you're like, oh, I'll just listen to the album again. So it's the perfect way to just continue to surf, to ride the wave, So it's like
scientifically engineered to have
it
multiple.
makes it such a roller coaster to go between all the different drops. And starting the album with a song that has such a heavy drop, and then ending the album with a song that has like such an intense build. I think they're really good end caps for this record. And then also like the lyrical content of choosing this song that is like so intensely personal to be like the way to end the album after a whole album of lyrics about, being with your family and the people you love and stuff. I think it's just peak perfect.
It's also
I
just
hate
such
that
a
I said
panda.
peak, but yeah, perfect way to end it.
Totally.
It is Twin Peaks. If you think about it, peak at the beginning, peak at the end.
Sure.
David Lynch.
Okay, so one more contentious lyric. A lot of people have debated this over the years. Do you think the lyric is, you've got to get rid of the more conservative habits of your mind, or you've got to get rid of the morning, sort out the habits of your mind?
Oh, I always thought it was, you've got to get rid of the morning, sort out the habits of your mind.
See, and even listening to it again last night, I don't know, maybe if it's the percussion throwing in a phantom, like diphthong in there or whatever for the letter C, but I do hear conservative habits. I've always heard that. I've never heard it the other way. Maybe live, it's slightly different, but this is also Panda Bear we're talking about, where live, he'll just be like, you got to get me, and you're like, I don't know what you're saying right now. But I'm not complaining with that either. This song, like, that driving sample of the maracas or the shakers or whatever it is just like the perfect driving force that like keeps it dynamic. Because if it was just like boo, 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 boo for 6 minutes, you would get annoyed pretty quickly, I think. Like we keep saying, it's the sum of all parts. This song in particular, I don't think you can take one part of it out. Maybe the like bleepy bloopy parts, but why would you want to take that out? That's like one of the best parts of the production.
That's what makes it like a celebration at the same time. He's like pulling his brother into something joyful from something painful. And I think the instrumentation just sounds like a booming, sparkling celebration, and that lends itself to that really well.
How do you feel about the music video? The little kids in the room with the eggs and the paint.
It's been years since I watched that one. I'm not honestly not sure.
It's a little off-putting, I think, at first, because you're just like, well, why are they doing this? Why are they making such a mess? I don't understand. But I think that's the point. Is it's supposed to sort of bring you back to that sort of like, anything is possible, I'm filled with energy attitude you can have as a kid, where you just lock in, and by the time, like you were saying, Kiki, at the end, it just like those bleep bloops bringing you back into reality. It's like going through a whole day of hanging out with your friends and then remembering you have to go back home and live with your family and not spend every waking moment out, playing lightsabers with them out in the front yard. Or
it's like a little transition back into reality before the album's over, for sure.
I think we did it.
We
did it. Took longer than we wanted.
Yeah.
I apologize, Kiki. I know this happens every single time. We're like, we're not going to take forever, and then we do. I know people have time constraints, but I really do appreciate you joining us. I feel like we could
thanks, Kiki.
have you on as a third chair. Maybe you and Tony could compete, but had a great time. And I feel like there's just so much more we could talk about with this band and these artists and the art that they put out in the world.
They quite literally changed my life. They're the artists I've seen the most live. They're the artists I spent the most time listening to. I've met all of the members except for Deacon, I think. I might have met Deacon by now, but I have met them all. I have pictures with everyone but Deacon. And they'll always hold a special place in my heart, even as I move through like other eras of my music enjoyment and stuff. And obviously this album is the album of all time for me. So I really appreciate you guys having me on to talk about it.
Yeah. And
very special to me.
Like you were saying, you met a lot of people because of this band, but like this album,
it was a
if not for
gateway,
this
and it
album,
totally changed my life. Yeah.
This wouldn't be happening right now.
No.
Jordan and I wouldn't have a podcast. I wouldn't have already known you for years. Like that we wouldn't have all been moderators on the Facebook group.
Yeah.
The
That's a good
dominoes
point, actually.
fell a long time ago.
Yeah, I wanted before we cap this, I do want to just say, because this tying this all in, like after I saw them play around the Painting With era,
Right.
I was standing outside of the venue here in Toronto, and I met a person named Linda Camacho. Hope I'm
Yes.
pronouncing the last name right.
I
And,
think I've actually met her after a show too.
and you know what's funny is we nicknamed her the Amazing Linda because she ended up just showing up at a bunch of like concerts and just random events and stuff, and she's just a really amazing person. So the Amazing Linda, shout out to her. But we, got our autographs from the guys in Animal Collective, and then we ended up taking the same train back. We lived in a similar neighborhood, and she was like, "Are you on Facebook?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she was like, "Are you on Animal Collective Spirit Posting?" And I was like,
Yeah,
"I'm
of
not."
course.
And so I was like, "What is that?" And then so I went, and she made me join. And if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have met the both of y'all. I wouldn't have met Greg. We wouldn't have done this podcast. So like,
We wouldn't have a
you know,
band
it's-
together.
well, yeah, exactly. So it's an amazing sometimes how life just, it is this butterfly effect kind of sometimes. You don't know, but also the fact that the Animal Collective fan community is so fucking awesome, and it's just like there is this connectivity between all of us. I think it's perfectly exemplified right here today.
Absolutely.
I've known about you, Kiki, for almost a decade. This is the first time that we're actually talking in person. Greg and I have never met in person. We've been friends for almost a decade. And, it's one of those amazing things. And it's not necessarily the glue that holds it together, but the inciting incident was Animal Collective. So
Yeah, unity of all kind. They have a way of bringing people together, unlike any other band I've seen, honestly. Yeah. I have so many people I love that I met because of this band. I could never sum it up better than going to an AV Terror concert on my birthday and 20 strangers giving me a hug, telling me happy birthday.
Yeah.
It was just magical.
so cool. And I've never met a bad Animal Collective fan.
Yeah.
I don't want to jinx it, but it tends to attract really
Good
cool
vibes.
people. So
Yeah.
On that note,
I was trying to
for
think of
watching.
something else to say. But anyway, Kiki, love you. Thank you for joining us. Glad that those listening parties all those years ago, somehow I ended up on one of those and, becoming familiar with your username and then meeting you in person. And I'm glad that we've known each other all these years and that,
Yeah, we've been friends for like 11 or 12 years at this point. I think 11, but yeah, shout out to
because it
the
had to have
listening
been
party. Shout out to
2015,
dubtrack.fm, man. Crazy.
Shout out to plug.dj, which it was before the rebrand, even. That's how far back I remember.
wow.
But, all right. We did it. Thank you guys so much for listening and watching. We'll be back. Kiki, go ahead and plug, and then we'll let you go.
Oh, okay. I have a video essay channel where I talk about media that I'm very enthusiastic about, mainly cartoons, also other TV and movie things. I'd love to talk about music on there someday if people cared enough to listen to me talk about it. And I'm also a voice actor and singer and music producer, and at the moment focused on a lot of like fandom related music, so music from like adult animation, etc., on my band Ellie and Knox. We also were just in a Greek mythology music project that just came out called Stories from Styx, and there are many more things in the musical internet realm that I'm involved in, so you can find me there and I'll give the guys the links. And
Yes.
thanks for having me. This was super fun.
Of course.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.